Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having another live battle from the 2019 format. On one side, we've got the Chandelure deck as used by Jimmy Wuyts, who came in the top 128 of the World Championship in the Masters Division, going up against the Naganadel and Quagsire deck as used by Ransome, a top 8 competitor in the Juniors Division, so we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. But before we begin, I just wanted to let everyone know that the channel is quickly reaching 1,000 subscribers, and we're trying to hit that goal before the end of the year. So if you enjoy the content that we put out, please consider leaving us a subscribe. It would really help us a lot. And now with that out of the way, let's get into the battle. And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Chandelure side, we've got Litwick as the active Pokemon, and on the Quagsire side, we've got Kyurem as the active Pokemon. The Chandelure side is going first, activating Green's Exploration as your supporter, searching their deck for any 2 trainer cards to add to their hand. And the ones chosen are going to be another Green's Exploration and a Duskstone. There's a really powerful supporter in this format, but it can only be used if the player does not have any Pokemon with abilities in play. We see a Fire Energy coming down to Litwick, and that's going to be it. Turn passes over to the Quagsire side. The player starts off by using Pokemon Communication to swap out a Quagsire from their hand for any Pokemon from their deck. And the one chosen is going to be a Poipole coming down onto the bench. It's going to be the main energy accelerator of the deck once it evolves into Naganadel. A Water Energy comes down to the benched Poipole. And then support is going to be Lily. The player can draw until they have 6 cards in their hand, or 8 if it's played on their first turn. So they drew some cards out of the deck. Let's see what they got. Another Pokemon Communication, swapping out Naganadel this time for, let's see, probably going to be another basic Pokemon to put down. Yes, there's going to be a second Poipole coming down. And do they have any more Pokemon or items to play? No, that's going to be it. Turn passes back over to the Chandelure side. Litwick evolves into Lampent right away. And there's the second Green's Exploration being activated to search their deck for another 2 trainer cards. It's going to be a Pokemon Communication. And Bill's Analysis now. And we do know that the player does have the Duskstone in their hand that they got in the previous turn, so Lampent can evolve this turn. But first, Pokemon Communication is played. They're going to be putting a Blaziken from their hand back into the deck for any Pokemon. Let's see what they get. Actually, they search for nothing. They fail to search. And there's a Duskstone. Duskstone lets Lampent evolve into Chandelure, and it can be played immediately, so it doesn't have to wait a turn. And it's going to be the main attacker of this deck. And now the stadium is going to be Giant Hearth. The player activates it by discarding a Fire Energy from their hand, and now they can search for up to 2 more Fire Energies from their deck. There's one. And actually that was it, they only searched for 1 energy card. And there's the attack, Spirit Burner. The player now has to discard the top 5 cards of the deck, and the attack does 10 damage, plus 60 more for every Pokemon that's discarded, and that is 3 Pokemon. Chandelure, Charizard, and a Blaziken. And now the player can put any of those Pokemon onto their bench immediately without having to evolve. So there we see all 3 of them coming down, Charizard, Blaziken, and Chandelure. They don't have to evolve, so immediately 3 Stage 2 Pokemon coming into play, and also the player takes the first prize of the game. Okay, a Poipole comes up as the new active Pokemon for the Quagsire side, and the player then activates 2 Custom Catchers. Now both Custom Catchers can drag the Blaziken into the active spot. It does have a retreat cost of 2, so hoping to stall out at least for 1 turn. Another Water Energy is attached, this time to the benched Poipole, followed by Cynthia. Now the player can shuffle away their hand to draw 6 brand new cards. They need to start evolving their Pokemon. So let's see what they get. Yeah, there's the cards being drawn. Did they get any more Pokemon to put onto their bench? They still need to build up the Quagsire. So yes, there we see the Wooper and an Acrobike. And now the player can look at the top 2 cards of their deck, keep one in their hand, and then discard the other one. And it looks like the one that was discarded was a Crushing Hammer. I couldn't quite tell. Another Kyurem comes down onto the bench. And now Poipole is going to be retreating to promote Kyurem, although it does not have any energy to attack. Okay, the benched Poipole now evolves into Naganadel, which activates its ability to get back the discarded Water Energy to attach onto itself, and that's going to be it. Turn passes back over to the Chandelure side. Let's see what they can do. The manual attachment is going to be the Fire Energy coming down to the benched Blaziken, the active Blaziken, which then activates its ability Firestarter to get discarded Fire Energy to attach onto any Pokemon on its bench. So now the second Chandelure also gets a Fire Energy, followed by Charizard's ability, Roaring Resolve. It can search their deck for up to 2 fire energy to equip onto itself, but it does take 20 damage. And then we have 2 fire energy coming down. And we're just going to wait for the damage to come down as well. There we go. 2 damage counters coming down to Charizard, followed by Bill's Analysis. As the supporter for the turn, the player can look at the top 7 cards of their deck and choose to keep up to 2 trainer cards they find in their hand. Let's see if they get any. Okay, there we see a Pokemon Communication and Brock's Grit. The rest of the cards are then shuffled back into the deck. So let's see if this Pokemon Communication will be used on this turn. No, it's going to be it. Blaziken cannot attack or retreat, so they just pass the turn. And now over to the Quagsire side once again. There's another Pokemon Communication, swapping out a Keldeo for either going to be Quagsire or Naganadel. And it was a Quagsire. It has the ability called Washout to move any energy onto the active Pokemon. Okay, so the manual attachment is going to be water energy coming down to the active Kyurem. And there's a Washout ability, moving both of the water energy from the bench up to the active Pokemon. So now it is fully powered up and ready to attack. And then we have another supporter, Cynthia, to shuffle the hand into the deck to draw another 6 cards. And there's the cards being drawn. Let's see if they got another Naganadel. And yes, they did. That's 2 Naganadel in play so far. Followed by Keldeo GX, a really powerful attacker in this deck. And there's the attack. Hail Prison, discarding 2 energy from Kyurem to hit for 110 damage. Times 2 actually, because Blaziken is weak to water Pokemon. So Quagsire takes their first prize, and now they're tied, 5 prizes remaining apiece. Chandelure comes back up as a new active Pokemon, and the player activates Pokemon Communication, swapping out a Charizard from the hand for, let's see, which Pokemon? It's going to be another Litwick, this time coming down onto the bench. So just in case these 2 Chandelure get KO'd, they're going to be getting another one ready. Fire energy comes down to the new Litwick. And there's the attack, another Spirit Burner, discarding 5 more cards, and that's 2 Pokemon already discarded, Delphox and another Charizard, and 3 more trainer cards, so it deals a total of 130 damage, just enough to take the KO. And it's going to be 2 prizes taken by Chandelure. And now the player also puts down the discarded Charizard and the Delphox onto their bench, so now they've got a full bench of Pokemon. The Keldeo GX comes up as a new active Pokemon now. And the player activates Crushing Hammer, flipping a coin. Let's see if it works. Yes, it is head, so they discard a fire energy off the bench Charizard. This Keldeo does need at least 3 energy to start attacking. So they need 1 attachment from hand, and 2 of the energy from the Naganadel. Another Wooper comes down to the bench, followed by the 3rd Cynthia to once again shuffle and draw 6 cards. Let's see what they get. They do need to draw into at least 1 water energy. Let's see if they got it. But first an Acrobike, looking at the top 2 cards, discarding 1. And it looks like it was a Blizzard Town that time. And there's another Crushing Hammer. There's a coin flip, and it is Tails that time, so it does nothing. And now Volcanion comes down to the bench, so now they've also got a full bench. And there's the manual attachment, water energy onto Keldeo GX. And there's both of the Naganadel activating their abilities to get back 2 discarded water energies, which then get moved up by the Quagsire. So Keldeo is now fully powered up to use either one of its attacks. And Chandelure is also weak to water Pokemon, so it is going to be getting KO'd no matter which attack is used. And Ultra Space comes down to replace the Giant Hearth, and it is activated. Now the player can search their deck for any Ultra Beast Pokemon to add to their hand. The one chosen is going to be another Naganadel, although they don't have any more space on the bench for any more Poipole. There's the attack, and it's going to be the GX attack. It's going to be Resolute Blade GX, hitting for 50 damage, times the number of bench Pokemon on the Chandelure side, so that was 5 bench Pokemon, so 250, times 2 for weakness, for a total of 500 damage! That is so unnecessary. Okay, another Chandelure comes up. Litwick evolves into Lampent, and Charizard gets a second Fire Energy. And there's the supporter, Brock's Grit. The player can search their discard pile for up to 6 cards in any combination of basic energy or Pokemon. There we go, it's going to be 4 Pokemon and 2 Fire Energy being shuffled back into the deck. Just trying to increase the odds of discarding Fire Pokemon with the Spirit Burner attack to increase the attack power. But first, the new Charizard activates his ability to accelerate 2 Fire Energy onto itself. And now the rest of the cards get shuffled back in. So now both Charizard have 2 Fire Energies attached to them. And there's the second Charizard activating its ability. It gets 2 more damage counters to get up to 2 Fire Energy equipped onto itself. There's 1. And actually, it looks like that was it. It just got 1 energy. The item is going to be a Pokegear 3.0, looking at the top 7 cards of the deck, and the player can choose to keep any supporter they find there. So the player is just trying to thin out their deck of any cards that aren't Pokemon to increase the odds of discarding them with a Spirit Burner attack. Okay, that card that was added was another Brock's Grit. And let's see if they have any more cards to use. There's the ability, Mystical Torch, coming from the Delphox to automatically burn the Keldeo, and there's the attack, Spirit Burner. Discarding 5 cards, that's 3 Pokemon. Yeah, 3 Pokemon, hitting for a total of, how much is that? 190 damage plus burn. Yeah, that's more than enough to take the 1-hit KO against Keldeo, and that is 2 more prizes taken. So the Chandelure side is down to just 2 more prizes to win the game. Volcanion comes up as a new active Pokemon now, and let's see what the player can do. Volcanion gets a Water Energy from the hand, and there's a Naganadel activating their abilities. And then Quagsire is going to be moving those energy up to the Volcanion to fully power it up. Yeah, it's 3 energy on Volcanions, ready to start attacking. There we see another Acrobike first, looking at the top 2 cards, discarding 1, and it was a Water Energy, and then keeping the other card in hand. Followed by another Lily supporter, to draw until the player has 6 cards in hand. The second Wooper evolves into a Quagsire now. There's the attack, Sonoblast, hitting for 200 damage because of weakness. And now every benched Pokemon on the Chandelure side is also going to be taking 20 damage. So Quagsire has taken 3 prizes so far. They are still 1 prize behind because they lost 2 prizes from that Keldeo GX. Okay, that's all the damage coming down from the Sonoblast attack. And now Charizard comes up as the new active Pokemon. With 3 energy, it will be able to take the 1-hit KO against Volcanion. And let's see what the player can do. Lampent evolves into another Chandelure. And no other cards are played, going straight for the attack. Continuous Blaze Ball, discarding all 3 of the energy. That is 50 times the number of energy discarded for a total of 150 plus the initial 30 for 180 damage. And now the Chandelure side is down to their final prize, while the Quagsire side still has to take 3. There's another Crushing Hammer, and it's another Tail, so it does nothing. Okay, the Naganadel is a new active Pokemon, and another Keldeo GX comes down onto the bench. Although admittedly it might be a little too late because the bench Charizard can just take the KO against anything. There's another Cynthia to shuffle away the hand to draw 6 brand new cards. Let's see what they get. Water Energy comes down to the active Naganadel. And there's both of the abilities. Getting back 2 of the discarded Water Energies. And the bench energy is going to be getting moved up by the Quagsire. Okay, so it looks like Naganadel is going to be the main attacker for this turn. Okay, there's another 2 custom catchers bringing up the bench Ninetales. So it's only got 80 HP remaining, which is just enough to take the KO with the Turning Point attack. There it is. That is 4 prizes taken by Quagsire, but I think that's going to be the game. Charizard can take the KO against anything. Charizard comes up as a new active Pokemon. And yeah, that's going to be the game. The player just has to declare their final attack. Oh, but first they're going to be using Mystical Torch to burn Naganadel, and there's the attack. Continuous Blaze Ball, discarding all the energy to take the KO against Naganadel to take the final prize. And there's the handshake! Chandelure is your winner! So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.